Hello again, Mark with Mark's Minerals. How's it going today? So I'm going to cut a few more stones, and I wanted to share with you some of the stuff that I got from the Apache tribe down in San Carlos. They've allowed me to be a distributor for their material. So they sent me a bunch of preformed stones. Now by preform, I mean that most of the work has already been done. When you get rock, it's got a bunch of overburden. This host, this clear chalcedony, it's going to have mud, rhyolite, clay at the bottom. It just is what it is. So there's a lot of waste when you're cutting that stone, and that's your first hour, first 2 hours working with coarse bits, with diamond saw blades. Can be some of the more dangerous work because rock is flying, dust is just pouring out. It is what it is. So what they've done, really nice, is they've taken and separated a bunch of stones out into usable sizes. So they've classified them where they're going to be about the size of a nickel or about the size of a quarter. They've shaved the bottom and the top to expose just to the bubble line, so you can still peel away the layers as you please. You can still go down and decide which layer you're going to go for, but I'm starting with this instead of this. It's probably going to be, well, and this would produce a smaller stone. Once I hacked everything off, it would still be a smaller stone than this because there's almost no waste on this. So I'm really excited. Not only do I have some world-class Slaughter Mountain Fire Agate, but I also have some really gorgeous white turquoise, and it's remarkable stuff. The luster on this is remarkable. The feel, it's almost like ivory. It's got a great hardness, fully stabilized, fully silicated, so just gorgeous stuff. Lovely to cut, makes some beautiful earrings, great faces and patterns in there, and it's the only known location where it's been coming from. So this is it. Plus it's already chopped into blocks. Again, all the waste is gone. So when you take a block, you can chop it up into little individual slices for earrings, pendants, cabochons, almost no waste. And then I also have some gorgeous bluestone or gem silica. This stuff is also perfectly stabilized and chopped into blocks, so there's almost no waste. It's ridiculous. No one else is going to do this. No one else wants to waste this much material before they give it to you, but the reason that they're doing this down in San Carlos is to make sure that you know when you get it that you have a quality, top-notch, grade A material that's ready to cut. You're not going to waste a bunch of stuff. And there's inclusions of copper and silver and gold in there that are evident, just ridiculous gem quality, world-class material. And I'll be making that available. And you can also check out marksminerals.org if you want to see some more, and I'll put up some links. But for now, let's just get to carving that preform. I want to see what it looks like. I'm really excited, and I want to share that with you. Alright, we'll be right back. I have to say that working with this material almost feels like cheating. It's so amazing not having to initially worry about what I'm going to do, where I'm going to start. I don't have to remove all this garbage. I don't have to remove all this mud. I don't have to deal with the chalcedony. I know where my color layer is. I know where the bottom is. I know what size gem it's going to produce roughly. And so I don't have to start with coarse tools. So what I'm probably going to start with is something in a medium grit, which will be in the 120 to 325 grit range, and I'm going to go ahead and start clearing out just a couple of these valleys. They're a lot easier to see. I'll clean that out, open that up, and just want to give you an idea of what we're starting with. This really is truly remarkable material. One of the formulas for assessing the value of rough, it's 1/4 of the perceived value of the finished stone. Well, that's because there's so much waste. So with these, there's almost no waste, and you have a much better insight as to what you're going to get with the stone. So it works out to about 1/3 of the perceived value of what the stone's potential is, and just gorgeous stuff. Okay, let me switch up bits, figure out, and then we'll get working. All right. Here we are. Someone had asked about the constant drip of water. Well, I set that up, and there are systems you can buy for $20 to $60, thereabouts. But if not, as I'm carving, I'll just douse it, dip it in the water that I already have. So you could have a little reservoir of water down here. As you're carving, you can go into it. I can already see the lines. You can see the shadowing. So where it's darker, I have to go a little bit deeper, and it will get loud. Sorry about this in advance. I want constant, steady, even strokes. So I'm not taking off thick layers in any strange way. It's more of a uniform removal of that chalcedony layer until I can get to the agate. And most of this I'm doing with my optivisor, my hood. So I'd be much closer to the stone as I go, able to see any change or transition as I go. I'm applying about 4 to 6 ounces of pressure. My main focus is to make sure that I keep a nice, steady, even flow. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird. I'm still a tiny bit congested. You can see how I'm reading this valley. So I'm going deeper along the edge of the valley, trying to expose that. It's just like nature. Mountains and valleys are going to repeat themselves. The shapes repeat themselves in nature. So just follow those natural shapes. You can see it's starting to brighten up. As the chalcedony comes away, gradually more and more, that'll become brighter. Alright, so the rest of this work I'm going to be doing with an I got to clear off the dirty water, forgive me, and that's why I use a sponge, because I keep this plexiglass shield between me and the camera. It keeps rocks from flying in my face, keeps down the dust, and I will do a video on creating one of these little boxes. I'm just going to douse it, let you see where I am. I mean, this is pretty much how it came. I'm just clearing off a little of that stuff on top, and then there's just that gorgeous rainbow crackle fire under there. These things are amazing. Preforms. This is the way to go if you just want to try out one or two stones and you want to be guaranteed that they're going to perform. Preform. Alright, I'll be back when I've cleaned up the top a little and right before I switch tools. Okie doke. So this is the work I've done so far with the inverted cone. You can see that I've got pretty close in there. And I was able to get around most of these ridges pretty effectively. Blue, it's indicative of a medium. Generally, if you see color coordination, green is going to be really coarse, blue is medium, red is fine, yellow is extra fine, and that's your general color coding. So I've done about as much as I can do with this size bit, even though it's fairly small. In relation to the stone, it's pretty big. So I'm switching out. This is 2.35 millimeter shank, and when they measure that, you'd get a set of calipers, and it's the width of the shank that's going in there. So with a lot of bits, with a lot of handles, you can go in, you can buy different collets, and those are the collars that hold the different bits. They have different sized collets. Different sized collets will accommodate different bits. This is what they look like. You can usually buy like a package of these at Harbor Freight or Lowe's or someplace like that. So this bit's too big. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a dental bit that's 1.6 millimeters, and that's the difference. This is the size basically I was using. This is the size that I'm going to use. So, again with medium, and I'm going to use about the same pressure, but it's going to allow me to get in there and just be a little more definitive as I'm going in the corners, exposing this, trying to get rid of the brown and bring it all to the same level. As I do that, one of the things that I'm going to do, let's see if I can zoom in. Here we go. Oh, good. Let's see if we can get... There we go. All right. So, this looks a lot bigger than it is. Right here you can see the ridge, the way it's deposited. Again, peaks, valleys, like mountains and rivers and streams, these shapes are repeated. You'll see this common opal layer here, and I've been told generally if the common opal layer is white, that means that the next layer of color is generally going to be red. If it's more of a yellow, then you have more chance of finding greens, purples, other colors inside. But I'm onto this really pretty red on top. This is what I'm going to work toward. But at the very edge and this hook area, I will work down past that into these various layers. And if I find something else, a blue or a purple, I might work for that. It depends on how vivid the red is. But I'll open this up. I'll do this little section here all the way through just to see if I want to go for something else. At least opens up that possibility for me. So from here, let's zoom back out a little. Again, at this point, please make sure you're wearing a mask, eye protection, ear protection. Just be careful with your hands. I'm using a gentle pressure, and I would be using an optivisor and fairly close to this so I could see what I'm doing. And again, I'm just using 1 to 2 ounces of pressure, trying to even it out and make sure there's no intense peaks and valleys. I want uniformity over the stone. And I'm even going nice and slow. You can hear it in the motor. You're probably going about 4,000 to 6,000 RPM. So it, if you have a dial control, it would be on low to medium. Nice gentle pressure. Slow and steady wins this race. So I'm going to continue going over this, but I'm going to do it with an optivisor so I can magnify everything I'm doing and see if I'm make sure I'm not going to break through or hit something else. Some people like a fixed tool. They have a fixed tool and then they can use both hands to manipulate. For myself, I like the dexterity of being able to move my tool and my stone. It becomes a fluid motion. I can control it more, and that's my preference. And see, I can douse the rock in between, work with it. And you'll see the colors start to become more dynamic as you get closer to them. People ask, where do you stop? Well, if this is the color layer I'm going for, at this point, I'm just going to go right where it's the darkest, right in here, till it's about this brightness up here. Once I can start to see lines of green, or the color being really defined and bright even in low light. Let me turn this off for a second. Once it's bright in low light, like this edge here, then I'm going to transition to a fine and then to polish. Because even as I polish, I'm going to be removing material. So I'm going to switch the camera off, do a little bit more work up close and personal, detail this out, and then we'll be right back. All right. So I've been windowing down this little section here, this little lip, and yeah, it's a little bit tedious going layer by layer. I'm at this one now and I've gone through 8 distinct color layers. From what I see, the brightest, best one is going to be the second one. This is the first layer. The second layer is going to have a little bit more green and that crackle fire. So this is actually where I'd want to stop anyway, because as I sand in and polish in, it's going to get, you're going to lose another millimeter of material, and so you'll be into the next layer. So this is actually perfect for me. But what I mean, can you see that little edge? I've been just slowly and patiently grinding through that layer, dousing it, checking it, seeing what color layer pops up, seeing if it was something else that I wanted. Yeah, it's tedious. That's why I'm doing it for just a small section. I can check it, I can see what I want, and then it just kind of goes to that dull orange. But that's right through to the bottom. That's what you need to do. You need to map your stone out, because you might be here at this crackle layer, and it's going to be pretty, especially the next one. But if I didn't know, I might just polish to this and not know that the second layer is even brighter. So that's my huge time-saving secret. Find a little inconspicuous corner, work it through to the bottom. Another time-saving feature, get these preforms so that you're not wasting a bunch of time tearing off overburden and cutting away a bunch of host rock just to get your general shape down. Alright, well, I'm going to finish this stone up, and I just want to give you a quick preview. The rest of the videos should explain the rest of the stages, and in the next video I'll be putting out a video soon of some finished stones as I get them done. But this is going to be up close and personal work with a magnifier, so I'm going to be doing that off camera. Thank you very much to everyone who's liked and subscribed to Mark's Minerals. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at mark.a.ruiz at chiricahua-apache.org, and I'll put that in the links. Thank you very much, and if you want to get some wonderful material, don't forget to check out marksminerals.org. I'll put a link in there as well. Thanks. Have a wonderful day.